yeah, NBA Straya. How are you going? Hey, Jan, are you good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's Hump Day, March 18, and basketball. My Sonics might be back. You beauty. Woo! Exciting times, I'll tell you that much. This is NBA Straya. I am your host, James Clemens, here in Larry Armour Studios, surrounded by Seattle Supersonics merch. And we are going to talk NBA expansion and the possibilities of it actually happening and sort of talking it all out. We teased it on the quick show yesterday. Now we're going to talk it out a little bit more, which is kind of fun. What it all means, how it all work. We've got some injury chaos, which we'll get into. We had some stinky games today, so we'll fly through the game wraps. That's not a knife. Old mate, no mate, Spud on the night, bet on Lonzo ball. There will be the Yeah Nahs, which are all NBA expansion based. Unpopular Opinion of the Day, which is a good one too. And Outback Takehouse, where we're serving up a flame grilled take. There is a very brief Andrew Gay's Great MAMBA Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence, but also a great moment in NBA Straya stat history. I love this one. Then we'll pick and preview all the games tomorrow, which is very, very fun. Before we jump into it, remember, we've launched an AFL show. That's right, your mate Jim is back talking footy. It's very exciting. It's called Footy Unfilterated. Go subscribe to that. Go check it out on its own YouTube channel. We've chopped that into 3 bits as well on YouTube because it's just a big show. Me and my buddy Jez talking out footy, and we chopped the YouTube into 3 bits, so it's a little bit more digestible. So go have a listen. Go check it out. We're still early days. We're just ironing out some kinks, just throwing it up against the wall, seeing what sticks. So tell us what you reckon. Let us know. It'd be really appreciated. I just love footy because footy's back. But anyway, let's talk some bloody hoops and my beloved Seattle Supersonics. It's episode 1364 of NBA Straya. I think that's what we're at. We're going to start counting these little shows. I don't know why I wasn't, but here we are. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq attack.
Oh, you better. Well, you better watch out for always a reminder that Shaq is a bit of a legend. He's paying for the funeral and costs and all this sort of stuff for this poor girl who was, died after a fight over there where he's like basically, one of those sheriff deputy types. So good on you, Shaq. What a legend. Anyway, it's a bit of a downer. Hey, let's do the rest of the show. We'll start with the daily. There you go. Daily Whipper. And how was your St. Paddy's Day? I had a few bevs. It was very fun, actually. So I did the show yesterday, the quick show, chucked up the video, literally pressed publish and walked out the door. And I just assumed it all went up okay. It's like one of those 100% fingers crossed because I think I said it on Footy Unfilterated, though. It's kind of nice, I don't know. We've got a pub basically half a block away from the house. And it's not like an Irish pub or anything, and it's never really that bit crazy, extra busy or anything on St. Paddy's Day, which is perfect when you've got 2 very small, rambunctious lunatic kids. Like the squids are just, you can sit them down, give them a kid's parma, and they'll delete it. But in the interceding minutes, there will be fights, there will be stuff spilt, there will be cars, trucks, monster trucks, transformers, teddies, it just all goes everywhere. And I do love our pub because it's got a nice little, big garden out the back. You can sort of run around a little bit if you're a squid and just had a good time. And I talked this out as well, right? For the years that, I host the NFL show with my buddy Gaz. He's the singer in a Celtic punk band, right? So every year Ramshackle Army would play somewhere and, check them out. But then when we moved overseas, so living in the States, it's a really big deal. Like St. Paddy's Day in New York, Boston, obviously, Chicago, all these places. So you actually could go check out the St. Paddy's Day parade, all that sort of stuff. But you'd have these times where the confluence of dates I remember there was one particularly boozy day. There was St. Paddy's Day and also the start of March Madness on the same day. So you've just got drunk dudes everywhere, including me. Like, I'm not going to throw stones in any sort of glass house. I was shit-faced that day, but it was just like one of the drunker days in a city you'll ever see, right? Like, it was chaos and it was awesome. So March Madness does start this week as well, which is a good reminder, but go fill in your brackets, etc. I have no idea. I know like a bunch of the top flight NBA prospects, a bunch of the Aussies, and that's about it when it comes to my college knowledge. I usually start cramming from about here through to the draft. That's what we do. But anyway, so all of these things that we did in New York for St. Paddy's Day, old mate and I would usually, if she was around, she usually was, she did a bit of, out there flying around, doing lots of work and stuff. But sometimes we'd have a Brooklyn Nets game. Obviously, with our season tickets, we'd be there. I loved that they actually, on St. Paddy's Day, would then sell Guinness cans with the blokes who came around and brought you beers and stuff, and you like give them the money, and boom, you got a Guinness can. So you go to that. We'd come back to near our apartment, and there's a couple of Irish pubs right near where we lived. But the best one was literally around the corner from our apartment was this amazing old Irish bar called Dublin House. It's got the oldest operating neon sign in all of New York, which is amazing. And it was staffed by these two surly prick Irish bartenders who, like, it felt like an impingement upon their time if you were there asking to give them money for beer. They ran a bar, by the way. Like, it was amazing. What are you here for? It's like, can I get a beer? Oh, what do you want that for then? Oh, I don't know, to drink? And I don't know. But anyway, we'd always end up at Dublin House at some point, and it was just chaos, as you can imagine. But the later you'd sort of get there, you better just go, they'd have these amazing tiny little 2-people booths because it's like this tiny little, hole-in-the-wall bar. And old mate and I would sit there. I'd have a Guinness and a JMO. She'd probably usually have a Guinness as well at some point, usually a JMO shot with me. And just, over the years, you sort of build out these traditions. We move home, and now we've got the squids, and the tradition is I punch out like 2 quick pints over at the pub and get the hell home. And here we are. So, yeah, usually the day after St. Paddy's Day, it's a little bit dusty in the olden days, and now it's just, I'm pretty fine. So, anyway. Hey, that was a long-winded way of saying today's game sucked. Other news! Josh Giddey went past Grant Hill on your all-time triple-double list as well, mere days after going past Michael Jordan. Gids has now got 30, so he's gone past MJ on 28 and Grant Hill. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. Maybe Josh Giddey needs to drink more Sprite. What do we think about that? I think it's not a bad idea.
Man, that's Grant Hill. Grant Hill drinks Sprite? Grant Hill drinks Sprite.
There you go. Speaking of Sprite, that was weird that it all sort of worked out. So, I don't know if you remember, but like Pepsi have been like the main beverage sponsor of the NBA for the last few years, which has meant Starry has been a thing. Remember how Sprite used to be a thing for like, the 3-point comp and all this stuff, and then they brought in Starry because that's Pepsi's attempt at doing Sprite, and everyone's like, what's Starry? This is stupid. So Sprite is coming back as the official soft drink of the NBA, which is kind of neat because Starry... WTF, man. What the hell was that? Gross. Sprite's fine. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. Injuries! Mwah, mwah, mwah. This sucks. Giannis is out for at least a week. And I don't know about you, but when he's got a hyperextension and bone bruise, he's going to be reevaluated in a week. I think he's done for the season, isn't he? I'm going to talk about that again later. It's a bit of a rough one. So he landed weirdly on it the other day, and then they sort of made the decision. They got it looked at, obviously. I never like bone bruise because that sometimes tends to lead into like, the sort of more, oh, God, he's torn something, etc. The hyperextensions obviously look painful. It's dodging a tear. Happy days with that, but it's still not great. So Giannis out for at least a week. I'd say a lot more. Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, it came out this morning. So this sucks for the NBA Supercoach because now I've got no Alpi Şengün or Ant-Man. Wop, wop, wop. Out for 1 to 2 weeks. He'll be reevaluated then. They got MRIs done for him. Inflammation in his knee. Came from kind of nowhere. There's like this big thing with him and Obama hanging out. It's like, oh, that's good. Did he hurt his knee playing basketball with Obama? Oh, God. Anyway, so Ant-Man, 1 to 2 weeks. This is horrible timing for the Wolves. Amazing timing for Julius Randle. Julius, he's going to go off his head for the next couple of weeks. Don't worry about that. But they're in an absolute dogfight to stay in the top 6 in the West. And I think what we'll do on Friday's show this week is sort of go through a bunch of these playoff seeding battles to come for the last month of the season, because we're literally into that stretch run where it's literally less than a month to go. So tough timing for the Wolves with Ant-Man. 1 to 2 weeks. If you just look at their schedule, it's going to be real bloody rough, because over the next little stretch, they have games against Utah. Fine. But that's tomorrow, and that's on a back-to-back. So it's not exactly a gimme. Then they've got Portland. Again, no gimme, but you're at home. You go to Boston, then you home again for Houston. Then Detroit, Dallas, Detroit again, Philly, Charlotte, Indy, Orlando, finishing with Houston and New Orleans. It's not exactly a murderer's row, but it's no way, shape, or form an easy run home for the Wolves. So they're going to need Randall and to ball out, because otherwise they could be in a lot of trouble. But they did get the win over Phoenix today, which was very, very handy for them. I'll tell you what, though, that's just horrible timing. Horrible timing. Maybe we'll have to get more jingles out there. Right, the other tough one was Cade Cunningham hurt his back diving for a ball, having some lower back spasms. It's one of those strange ones because they were playing Washington. And this might be just like an overabundance of caution kind of vibe where they're like, oh, God, Cade, if it's sore, just sit down, mate. Like, just take the day off. RDO. Like, you've played 5 minutes. Just go hang out, mate. Like, it should be apples. We'll be right. It's Washington. And they were right because they still, caved their heads in. But he took a bit of a tumble. He copped a knee to the back and then the back spasms afterwards. Just not great, right? So Marcus Sass is like, yeah, next up, man, next up. We've been doing it all season. It's like, all right, not ideal. I mean, again, this is another tough one for your NBA Supercoach because I've got him as well. Disaster areas for Jim Does Supercoach this week. And then the final 2 injuries as well. Memphis are just like, Q, meet rack. Scottie Pippen Jr. is done for the season getting surgery on his big toe. And Santi Aldama has just gone off to go get a bit of a knee procedure. I always love the phrase procedure because, again, I'm no medical doctor, but if you say knee procedure, I assume they're doing some sort of cutting, right? Unless it's just a couple of shots. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. All the doctors out there, let me know what you reckon. Hey, some very brief game wraps because these games suck today. We had Miami get curb stomped by Charlotte. I talked this one out on NBA Coffee Run this morning on the video. I said on yesterday's show, right? Miami's defense has been fantastic. Charlotte's offense is great. This should be a really fun game. And then I reckon we published the show later that night. They ruled Bam out. And you're like, okay, so it's Tyler Hero versus LaMelo Ball. LaMelo won it pretty convincingly. He was fantastic. 36-13. Not bad, good size. And Miami, woo-wee. Huge game, this one, for the simple fact of, like, if you look at the standings, Charlotte are in the 10 seed. This bumped Miami back down below Orlando. So both those teams had been flying. Both of them have now lost 2 games. This was Miami's chance to sort of get one back over the top of Orlando. They lose. This keeps Charlotte only 2 games behind Atlanta for the 8 seed. Only 1.5. I think it's 2.5 games behind Atlanta. 2 games behind Philly for the 9 spot. So off they go. OKC beat Orlando 113-108 thanks to 40 from SGA. Orlando, look, this was always going to be a tough one. They did cover. They were right there kind of most of the game. They just never quite got the inroads. It's one of those, I love looking at the game worm. This was a game worm for all time. Because it was just kind of like, back and back and back. They tied it back up in the 4th quarter, and you're like, here we go. And then OKC just went, that's cute. Check this out. And off they went, right? I think it was Orlando got up by 1 point, and then I think AJ Mitchell hit a couple of shots. Yeah, that's right. It was the AJ Mitchell bit, and then Isaiah Joe goes whack, and off they went from there. I was watching a bunch of that game going, Orlando going to do this? And they just did not. So, tough one. Detroit basketball. Without Cade, still no problems. It was a bit tight there for a bit. Then they curb stomped Washington 131-17. Indy got killed. They got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
By the Knicks, 110-136. This was, it's just a bit of a bloodbath, that one. The Knicks, 33 for Josh Hart. Pretty handy. Mikal Bridges, still not in the good books there in New York. Cleveland outlast Milwaukee, who came flying back at them. Down 10 late and just made this a game. 123-116. Harden was good. Donnie Mitchell couldn't hit a shot, but they still got the good win. Cleveland. Phoenix got beaten by Minnesota 104-116. As I mentioned, no Ant-Man. Randall goes off. Booker couldn't quite keep up. Philly got smashed by Denver 96-124. It was always going to happen. And San Antonio beat the sans hell out of Sacramento. They're up 31 at the half, 132-104. I had picked Sacramento to cover in that game, thinking Sacramento on a back. Nope, Sacramento just get obliterated because the Spurs are just a rolling death machine. So, not bad. Who's the NBA Straya Improved Performer of the night, Jim?
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Jalen Duren, no problems. He had this little bit of a Bam Adebayo moment. He had 36-12 with a block against the Wiz in Cade's absence. Absolutely crushed it. Good on you. Devin Booker had the 34-6-3 in the losing effort. 32 for Randall. LaMelo's 30-point, 13 assist, 6 rebound game was very, very good as well. But I think that Josh Hart, 33 points, 5 from downtown to go with 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. I love that he's getting clowned by his teammates, but yeah, that was a really good game. You also had Jokic have a really strangely quiet game as they absolutely beat the hell out of the Sixers. So anyway, a bit of a weird one. Strange day in the NBA. SGA also had 40, 5 rebounds, 2 assists and 4 steals. Yeah, I think he's going to win the MVP, just saying. How about Spud of the night?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. Dante DiVincenzo. 0 of 8 for Dante against Phoenix. He ripped his shirt, or his jersey, like he was Hulk, which is pretty good. 1 of 7 for Jet Howard and Stephen Castle. Yeesh. 1 of 6 for Jordan Goodwin. Kuzma also went 1 of 6. 2 of 11 for Cam Bring the Pain. 4 of 14 for Donnie Mitchell. 3 of 12 for VJ Edgecombe. I told you today was pretty rough. But aside from the magic number, my absolute favorite game today, out of all of the NBA Straya approved performances, Spud of the Night, Jalen Green. This one does suck because he's in my Supercoach team, but Jalen Green today for the Phoenix Suns against your Minnesota Timberwolves went and shot the date. He shot 317. It's March 17 over there. He shot 3 of 17 in a very strange tribute to St. Paddy's Day. He might have been shit-faced while he was trying to shoot the ball. That maybe explains missing fucking 14 shots, Jalen Green. Bloody hell. What is he doing at a couple of shots at fucking quarter time and half time? He's like, oh yeah, just hit us up. We're going to win this one. They didn't win. And him fucking shooting 3 of 17 certainly didn't help matters, I'll tell you what. Anyway, I'd also very much like to thank the legend, Tim Hardaway the Lesser. Why is that, Jim? Well, because he shot the magic number. Oh, yeah. Oh, chill. That's right. Tim Hardaway the Lesser shot 311. Who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? Well, this might come as a bit of a surprise to you, knowing how much I hold LaMelo Ball in such high esteem. But So the Charlotte Hornets social team were doing a bit of a, clip, as they tend to do, a bit of a social clip. They had a cup full of shamrocks. And they're like, guess how many, they're asking all the players, guess how many shamrocks are in this cup? And like, a couple of them are, and you're like, yeah, cool. And LaMelo, with that big, dumb, stupid look of a face on him, he's got that big, stupid looking face. He tipped them out and said, 0. I've never wanted to fucking punch somebody so fucking hard in my life. Because I found this extremely fucking strange because people are like, oh, he's such a cut up. Oh, when you let those intrusive thoughts win. All I thought was like, what a fucking dead shit. 0. If I'm the social fucking media person there, I'm like, oh, you fucking piece of shit. I would have been the Arthur meme, like my fist just clenched by my side. It's like, I know I can't hit him because I'm employed by the Charlotte Hornets, but fuck, I wanna. Because all these other people going, oh, isn't he? He's such a cut up, isn't he? Look at him. Oh, that's so funny. Intrusive thoughts. Ha ha ha. All I thought about was the poor fucking person that had to pick all those fucking shamrocks up. Fuck you, LaMelo. This is the exact fucking indictment-y shit that you see of a dumb fuck like him tearing out in his car, hitting other, like getting into fucking car accidents at terrifying speed, and then doing dumb shit like this. It speaks to a bloke who has the fucking intelligence of a cinder block. What an absolute fucking mouth-breathing moron you are, LaMelo Ball. Jesus. Settle down, Jim. You just tipped out some shamrocks. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? This is just like endemic to like a personality type that is a massive fuckhead. Just saying. Pouncing of the night. Caruso was trying to block the ball with a shoe. Who blocks a ball with a shoe? Yeah, ask. He did get a tech for it, though, which I thought was pretty funny. Taj Gibson loses his shoe at some point. It was all very funny. Caruso defending with a shoe in his hand, trying to block the shot. It's a bit of a pantsing. It was also kind of funny. I'll kind of pay it. Not bad. Good size. Also, Sacramento being down 31 at the half to San Antonio. What a pantsing. Oh, geez. All right, better than Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons, and Bronny James today.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
How about Bub Carrington? 30 points for the young fella. I didn't mind that for Washington against Detroit. 30 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 12 of 16 from the floor and 6 of 8 from 3. Bloody hell, not bad. Hey, Bub. Bub Carrington. 28-9-2, however, for my good friend, the legend himself, Maxi Reno. How good was that against the Spurs? 42 minutes he played, the rookie. 13 of 25 from the floor, 32 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. I love him. He's an absolute weapon. Way to go, Maxi Reno. All right, there you go. Let's take a quick break, come back with some yeah-nahs about NBA expansion right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do some yeah-nahs brought to you by you. That's right. You can shout us a coffee, shout us a beer. Help keep the pirate ship afloat. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. That also means that you join the Dead Set Legends Club, which means you get exclusive stuff each month as well, which is very cool. So go check it out. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. I'm going to start, the power rankings are going to go up there each week as well with some words. Just need to, get the schedule completely correct. So, but we'll also have a new Dead Set Legends Club episode going up towards, in the next week and a bit. Working on it right now. Good times. And if you've got any ideas that you want me to do the Dead Set Legends Club episodes around, basically just an idea that you want me to hear talked out. I'll just talk it out. That's what I'll do. That's what I do on the Dead Set Legends Club. It's very fun. I had so much fun doing the teams as bands that I'm just like, I don't know if I can top that. It's so good. But you can go listen to that if you join the Dead Set Legends Club. So just buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Right. NBA expansion. We teased this on yesterday's show. Now, if you listen to NBA Straya, you know that I am a rampant, old-timey Seattle Supersonics fan. Going back to the times, the early 90s, the Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, just a heartbreaking 94 loss still sticks with me, the Denver Nuggets. Still brutal. Bloody Dikembe laying there and he's back with that ball just clamped in his hands. It sucked. But I think, obviously, Adam Silver comes out and is like, yep, we're going to be looking at doing expansion. And you're like, okay, this is good. This is fun. Obviously, it means a lot to me because I'm currently wearing a Sonics hat. I have the signed Rain Man Sean Kemp poster in the studio. I have a signed Gary Payton magazine cover. I've got a Nate McMillan poster illustration that's signed by him and the illustrator. It's awesome. I've got the Sean Kemp up and behind me. I have a horrifyingly large amount of Sonics jerseys. So I obviously am just like very, very excited about this news. And I'm also wary enough because the first year is, Jim, NBA expansion. Is it gonna happen? Yeah, nah. Well, I bloody well hope so. And I don't know if Adam Silver would come out and be so gung-ho about it all. Or at least let Shams be so gung-ho about it. If Adam Silver didn't sort of know that he had the first initial block of votes, which is going to be the bit where they look into expanding into Seattle and to Vegas. Because that was sort of like the first step, right? And we sort of talked this out on yesterday's show about how the wording of it is such that, you know, it's this sort of strange setup where they're like, well, they're going to vote first, essentially, at the Board of Governors meeting next week, essentially to sort of, you know, allow the league to go and canvass potential franchisees and people who would buy these franchises, right? And then there'll be a final vote later in the year to finalize actually doing it, going ahead with it, and going to 32 teams. The worry I still have, though, is that the likes of imbecilic owners, James Dolan, will still get too upset about splitting their 1/30th of the NBA revenue to 1/32nd, despite getting a horrifyingly large, like terrifyingly large check out of these sales. So what it's going to mean is if you look at it, you have these two teams that, as we sort of talked about, right, on yesterday's thing, is it going to happen? The biggest question will literally probably come down to the economics and who can afford to buy these teams. Seattle, obviously, there's a crap ton of money up there, which is why it doesn't make any sense that there's not a team up there. You've got huge corporations based out of there. You think about all the tech stuff out of there, a bunch of the aviation stuff as well, like heaps and heaps of cash up there in Seattle. A big market as well. It's like the biggest market in the USA without an NBA team. So it's never made sense that they've gone from Seattle to OKC, which is a podunk town with no interest in it. Anyway, I'm not bitter, just angry and bitter. But the key thing is, will it go for enough to make them just go, bloody hell, that's a big check, Jim? Yeah, nah. Yeah, probably, right? Because the numbers being floated out there by Shams, $7.5 billion to $10 billion. You think about that, $7 billion. I think he said $7 to $10 billion for the franchise, right? You think about this, just go conservative, go $7.5 billion each for each of the teams. The ownership groups come in, they buy these teams. Boom, there's $15 billion that the team owners, the existing 30 owners, then just split. They just cut themselves a check. And if it's $15 billion two teams, 30, two new teams, 30 existing teams. They just get $500 million. Boom, placed on their desk. Just a check for $500 million. So this is the thing. This is why it feels like it's now economically feasible, because they saw the Celtics sell for over $6 billion. You see the Lakers go for 10. You think about the growth potential in somewhere like Seattle with its history. It's got the arena. They're all ready to go. Now it's like sort of off and going. We're happy days. Vegas, you think about the potential there. Strange one, but they have now, if they do add the basketball team, they'll have all four major sports suddenly covered in Vegas after, for years, never having a team there, right? Because they're moving the Athletics there still. The Raiders are obviously already there. And you've got the Vegas Knights, the Golden Knights, the NHL team that's actually won a Stanley Cup. So that sort of like becomes a really big potential money spinner with all the, legalized gambling across the states as that sort of keeps rolling out. Vegas, it sort of seems down in terms of like its cultural and economic sway and impact as people can sort of gamble in their own home states, etc. now. And there's also, the lack of tourism there just because it sort of seems like there's a lot of just price gouging going on for some of these casinos and people complain about that. But I don't know, it still seems like it's going to be like having all four sports seems like a no-brainer. So for the existing owners just to get $500 million slapped in front of them to assuage the pain of suddenly having, instead of a 3.33% share of league revenue to 3.13%. Come on, man. You get $500 million for that. That covers that dip in just taking the TV revenue in this CBA for 11 years, right? That covers that entire gap until the next CBA, until the next media rights deal that they tee up. So, which can actually, I think, kick out. Well, the CBA, I think, could be kicked out. It's 28-29, early termination. And the next media rights deal, like between Amazon, ABC, ESPN, NBC, etc. Like there's probably not going to be less bidders next time around is what I'm saying. So this is like a huge chunk of change, $500 million, which is more than a lot of these other owners already paid for their existing teams in the olden days. And boom, you got two new teams. So I feel like the money is now big enough that it's maybe just going to happen. That's where I'm at. I hate getting my hopes up as well, but here we are. Otherwise, what would this mean, Jim? Expansion draft. Yes. Love an expansion draft, because how does this work? If you go back into the past, the way they've done it before, and the way it's written into the current NBA collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, is that the two if the two teams come in for, as it's mooted, 28-29 season, essentially they draft from the existing teams, go, we want that player, that player, that player. But teams can protect 8 of their own players, right? 8. That's all good. And those two new teams can only take one player from each of the existing 30 teams. Pretty interesting, right? Seattle should 100% take whoever OKC can't protect, because OKC have a lot of good players. So if suddenly you're going, we'll take Jared McCain. But the thing is, the total of those players doesn't include unrestricted free agents, does include restricted free agents though, and those with player and team options. So the winnowing down of the players that you can take in the expansion draft happens pretty quickly. But I think this is where it's going to get real fascinating, because you'll have teams go, oh no, we haven't protected Joel Embiid. Please take him off our books, please. That sort of stuff. And you'll have other smart teams being very squirrely, I think, in the lead up to this expansion draft, where you can agree on new contracts before the year and extensions as well, right? Declining team options or player options, so you can basically make sure that this player is like a restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent, whatever suits you. You can sign somebody basically saying, well, he's under contract, but he's actually able to be taken, because it's an excuse to almost expose a player, right? So you can pick up options, so it can sort of make an undesirable player that you don't really need to keep around And it's like, oh, this is our only half-decent dude that you could probably take off our hands, right? Which is pretty interesting. You could sign a bad player as well to like a non-guaranteed deal, and it's like, oh, this is our only guy who's kind of like, is the only one who's exposed, etc. Because if you've structured up your contracts and all this sort of stuff, you could limit a lot of the damage, and I'm sure the smart teams are already working on that. But a team must leave at least one player unprotected who is under contract for the following season. So that's where you could sign like the one crummy player or pick up a player option or a team option on a player that you're like, oh no, he's exposed. What are we going to do? So yeah, it's going to be pretty weird. But then obviously when the new teams come in, how does the draft work, Jim? Well, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do. They gave the Bobcats, the last expansion team, they gave them the 4th pick in the draft. You might remember back when Vancouver and Toronto entered the draft, they couldn't get the number 1 pick for a couple of years. So you end up with like, I think that's how Philly got AI, right? In the ping pong balls, they just couldn't get number 1, so they got bumped down. And there's like a couple of other instances like that where not being able to get the number 1 pick for years really, really stings, but it's pretty funny. So I think this is still up to be negotiated as to where they could pick, but the 4th pick, like the Bobcats had, and I think they did a coin flip, Toronto and Vancouver, but anyway, they essentially would be put into this draft and, get to have at it in the, the rookie draft. If it's 4 and 5, it feels kind of fair because I think what we're going to see this summer in the NBA is they're just going to go, right, we're trying to fix tanking as much as we can. So in disincentivizing losing is going to be a big, big, big thing, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how they make that work with the draft. So I'm pretty interested in that. And can they build a team very well, Jim? Yeah, nah, not really, because they actually get limited to, I think, a salary cap that's 66.6% of the existing cap, and their salary floor is only 90% of that. So, yeah, that climbs to 80% the next year, 80% of the salary cap, and then 90% of the salary floor again. And then third year, they're basically a normal team. So it gets a bit of a sort of weird sort of setup, but it would be so much fun to build a team from scratch and go, what do I value? How do we do this? Who's unrestricted? Who's a restricted free agent? How are we going to spend this money? We've got a very limited amount of money we can spend. It's going to be fascinating. I can't wait. What does this also mean for the NBA at large, Jim? Well, we're going to move a team to the East. Minnesota, Memphis, New Orleans, they're all the ones on the Mississippi, basically. I think the weird thing is, like, Minnesota, I think, is the more geographically isolated West team than even New Orleans and Memphis, right? Because New Orleans and Memphis are at least really close to the Texas teams and OKC. Whereas Minnesota, I think their nearest one would be Denver, right? Whereas I think closer to them than everybody else is like Cleveland, Chicago, Indy, Milwaukee. Like, they're all right there. So I feel like you just add them straight into the East and we're laughing. It also means you get a bit of extra star power moving from the West to the East, which doesn't happen that often. Remember? It's like this big thing, like all these West superstars. It doesn't happen often that they go from East to West. And this would basically mean that Ant-Man becomes an East all-star superstar, which is kind of cool. Kind of here for it. Anyway. And does it also mean that we could actually listen to Steve Kerr here, Jim, and cut some games from the schedule? Yes. This would be the easiest opportunity they could ever have to go, right. The NBA season's always been 82 games. Not always, shush. And B, I think when we're all cutting $500 million checks to everybody, they can probably absorb a few of the costs of maybe losing 5 games from the season. So what, two or 3 home games out of your schedule? Because with 32 teams, you can get to 77 games pretty easily, right? You play the other conference twice. So all 16 teams in the other conference, you play them twice. It's 32 games. You play your own conference 3 times. Simple as that, right? So 3 times 15 is 45. I'm no maths genius, but I'm pretty sure 32 plus 45 is 77. So suddenly we've just cut 5 games from the schedule. The schedule makes a lot of sense. You play your own conference, everybody in your conference 3 times, other conference twice, and that's it. Boom, 77 games. Maybe the NBA Cup adds 1 or whatever in there. But this just allows us to cut out some back-to-backs, just tighten up the schedule a little bit more, make sure we're all good, make sure we're keeping everyone a little bit healthy. You've got $500 million in your pocket, owners. Stop being so greedy. Cut some games from the schedule. Make this a little bit easy on folks. Every team losing 1 or 2 back-to-backs because they've got 5 games less in the schedule. Maybe they've cut all back-to-backs because of that. Let's do it. This is the prime opportunity. I'm the Vice President of Common Fucking Sense. Listen to me, Adam Silver. I'm just saying. Again, my consultancy fee is going up and up and up because you guys, your head in your ass, I'm here to help. Simple. Right, unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
We're sure Vegas is a really good spot. Seattle's a no-brainer. The Sonics, my beloved Seattle Supersonics, awesome tradition, an awesome basketballing tradition as well, right? Between all the legends that are from there, all the legendary teams that came from there, and like even going back, like, you know, we talk about, obviously, like, you know, before my time, you think about the 78-79 finals title run, right? So they win the title in 79, win it then with DJ and Lenny Wilkins and co hanging out. Jack Sikma, you know, all these legends. And what, they made the finals the year before. The 96 finals, obviously, like a massive, massive, massive thing. It is just such a cool brand. Seattle, it's a no-brainer. Vegas, I don't know, man, just a little bit more iffy, but there's obviously a hell of a lot of cash involved. So I think Vegas means it's a bit of a smart one too. They've seen how well the Golden Knights have worked. There's infrastructure in place. So, yeah, well, let's just make it happen. The other unpopular opinion of the day, and kind of another is do you reckon we'll see Giannis in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform again? Yeah, nah. Unpopular opinion. Nah. I think that might be it. I don't know if they risk playing him the rest of the season. A bone bruise, hyperextension in that knee. Oh, it's a week off. Mate, there's 10 games left in the season? I don't know if you risk the biscuit. What happens if Giannis then just does his knee? Then you're completely cooked. He's cooked. It's all over. What are you doing? The Bucks are at currently 68 games, so they've got 14 games left on the schedule. Don't risk him. Anyway, bit of Outback Takehouse. What name should we come up with for the Vegas team, Jim? It's hump day at Outback, and you know what that means. Oh, yeah, we've gone into the Outback, taken down a couple of those feral camels, sliced off the hump, boom, stuffed them full of delicious, delicious other things like a couple of echidnas, some, I don't know, bloody witchetty grubs. What else? Some coriander, some mince, chuck her in the oven, bung her in there, 24 hours, just slow roast. It comes out. It's rubbery as hell, but it is a hump day special and it's only at Outback. And today's Flame Grill take is Adam Silver should punish the Clippers by only expanding with one team and making Steve Ballmer move the Clippers to Seattle. Just saying. But the other one is the NBA should go all in with the Vegas name, like the DraftKings Las Vegas Loaded Dice Gamblers. The Las Vegas Gamblers. The Las Vegas Same Game Multis. The Las Vegas Lines. The Las Vegas Over-Unders. The Las Vegas Props. The Las Vegas Terry Rosés. The Las Vegas Degenerates. Hey, not bad. How about the Las Vegas Sinners? I'm just saying that's kind of cool as fuck. It's Sin City, baby. Lean into it. The Las Vegas Sinners. Oh, that's fucking fire. Right, Australian Player Watch for today. We only had a couple of the Aussies in action with Josh Greeny Grin playing 14 minutes for the Hornets against your Miami Heat. He went 0 of 1 from 3. That was the only shot he took. 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 turnover, and 1 steal. No Tyrese Proctor. He's not dressed at the moment. They got a full complement, I think, there. Cleveland as well. He's out with a quad injury, anywho. And then that was about it. No one else actually got out there, I reckon, because there was no Bulls, no Atlanta game, no Portland, and here we are. So, oh, that's right. We had Minnesota, but neither Jingles or Rocco played against Phoenix. Did not play coach's decision, so yeah. Tough sheens. All right, very quick. What is it? Andrew Gay's Great MAMBA Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.
It's the first annual Andrew Gay's Great MAMBA.
Outstanding achievement in the field of excellence.
All right, how about Russell Westbrook? Absolutely carving it up and moving into 5th all-time for assists in the NBA. He goes past Steve Nash. So 10,343 to Nash's 10,335. So the only people ahead of Rusty are LeBron James with 11,909, Jason Kidd with 12,091, Chris Paul with 12,552, and of course, a really untouchable record for John Stockton at 15,806. Now, I'm not saying a lot of those were Utah scorers home cooking, but I'm also not saying that. Not saying that. Yeah. It's a pretty good one. Anyway, what about a great moment in NBA Australia stat history? Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? It's been a little while since we did one of these, and I just I missed the date the other day, and I've been upset about it ever since because this was one of the great times.
Great moments in NBA Straya stat history.
The Dateline 2020, just before COVID, and Aaron Baines shuts down the NBA. There you go, bangers. Do you remember this game where he set the record for an Aussie scoring points in the NBA? It was later broken by Box Hill Benny, but Aaron Bangers Baines in that game against Portland back in 2020, March 6, 2020. Adam Silver shuts down the league a couple of days later because he's like, I've seen enough. He's too scary. I can't have Aaron Baines being the face of the NBA. Adam Silver just hates Australians. But Bangers in that game against the Portland Trailblazers absolutely goes off his head. Playing next to Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, Dario the Homie Saric, Ricky Rubio, up against, and a young Ty Jerome. No DeAndre Ayton in this game. No Cam Johnson in the one either. Up against the Trailblazers with Hassan Whiteside, CJ McCollum, Dame Lillard, Trevor Ariza, and Carmelo Anthony. Remember the Melo Trailblazer year? What a world. And Super Mario Hezonja. Hell yes. Super Mario. Love that. So, Aaron Baines then went off and shot 12 of 23 from the floor, 9 of 14 from 3. Jesus. Still, I think the equal record for threes made by an Aussie in a game. 4 of 4 at the line. 16 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and a then NBA Aussie record 37 points. The cement truck, disguised as a human, goes absolutely off his head. 37 and 16. Bang! What a great moment in NBA Straya stat history. Remarkable gear, wasn't it? I remember actually doing an NBA Straya around that time, and it was absolutely chaos, and then COVID hit, and it all went to shit. Right. Let's do a bit of a Paddy Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Paddy played his first game for his new team, Tenerife, and he actually played up against Josh Bannon, which is kind of cool. Fellow Aussie. So, where is the Paddy? There we go. One new post. Off he goes. Pride in place, power in people, Big West champions. Couldn't be prouder of these young men, this stuff, and the way our university has represented Hawaii. Built from the roots, now we're down. Go Bows. That's awesome. And then there's obviously the post about him playing for Tenerife up against Josh Bannon. So that's very cool. He literally lands, gets on the court, off he goes. Paddy Thrills is back. Love it. All right. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Yeah, not bad. Not bad today. So you can find all of our picks over at Dabble. I think we went 4 of 8 today. A couple of those tanking teams didn't help us out. Losing Cade didn't help either. Yeah, same with Ant-Man too. I think they still covered. But anywho, remember, the picks are there at Dabble. Go check them out. You can see NBA Coffee Run in the morning where I sort of do a little bit of any other late newsy, sort of breaky sort of stuff. The Ant-Man news sucked, so that's not great. But anyway, you can find the link in our social bios and our show description. But We have 9 games for your Thursday. We've got Golden State at Boston. So for some reason, the Celtics weren't playing on St. Patrick's Day. They're playing either side of it. I guess that's probably safer. Now, the Warriors, they got the extreme Zinger meal back the other day, which is kind of cool. Where is he? And I don't know. They looked a little bit feistier. If he plays against Boston, I don't mind them plus 12.5. I think Boston still win. Jaylen Brown's been balling out. Tatum's still coming back. We get that. But the Warriors just play tough. They're annoying. I'll take the 12.5. OKC and Brooklyn. Now, this is a tricky one. OKC obviously played today. They squeaked by Orlando. They jump on a plane. They go to Brooklyn to take on the Nets, who are not very good. OKC's 18.5-point favorites against the Nets. I'm still taking it. I was tempted to take the plus 18.5 for Brooklyn, but they are such gutter trash that I can't. OKC could just run out their second unit and just go, Jared McCain, have at it, and they would still kill Brooklyn. So we're going OKC. Portland up against the Indiana Pacers in Indy. Pacers are heading back from New York. I don't mind the Blazers in this one, minus 10.5. They've got a bunch of their dudes back. Denny's sort of back. Giroux's back. There's a little bit going on. They need some good wins too, this Portland team, because they're right in the thick of the sort of, morass at the end of the playoff seedings in the West. But they got by the Nets pretty handily the other day. They got a day off. You've got pretty much you've got Jrue Holiday, you've got Klingon, you've got Denny, you've got Jeremiah Grant, you've got Tumani Kamara. I reckon they can take care of Indy. I'm going to take the 10.5 for Portland. Toronto, Chicago. This is another interesting one. Josh Giddey up against the Raptors. I just don't think I trust the Bulls' defense enough to slow down this Raptors team. Because remember, who do the Raptors beat? Oh, that'd be bad teams, Jim. What's Chicago? Oh, that would be a bad team, Jim. That's right. So we're going to take Toronto minus 7.5 against the Bulls. Buzelis and Giddey have been balling, which is cool. The Raptors, though, I think they're a little bit better. We'll go the Raps minus 7.5. Utah, Minnesota. Oof. The Wolves on a back-to-back. The Jazz are tanking. I'm going to take Utah plus 11.5. I think the Wolves might just take a little bit of time to adjust to no Ant-Man. Randall is a bit of an Iron Man. He'll keep playing through all this. But Utah might have a crack at keeping this one close. Let's go Utah plus 11.5. Clippers, New Orleans. Clippers, we don't know if Kawhi is actually playing or not just yet. Because he sat out yesterday's game. I assume that he's not going to be playing in the next one. He's questionable, apparently. So Benedict Matherin's been ruled out for the entire road trip. My Supercoach team is an absolute shambles. Ah, God. Dealing with an injury to the big toe on his right foot. You got to be kidding me. That sucks. Anyway, we're going to go the Pals minus 1.5 in that game. Clippers don't have Benny Mathurin or Kawhi possibly. Let's go Pals. Atlanta, Dallas. Interesting game. Atlanta obviously flying, right? Kicking everybody's head in. 10-game winning streak. I'm going to go Dallas at home, plus 8.5. It's just too many points. With Cooper Flagg and Najee Marshall balling, I think they'll keep it close with Atlanta. Atlanta might still win this and win their 11th straight, but I think the Mavs will make them work for it. Denver, Memphis. We saw the Nugs have a bit of a, easy win over the top of Philly today. They then jump on a plane, go to Memphis. This Nuggets team, 25 minutes for Jokic, 23 minutes for Cam Johnson. Aaron Gordon played 19 minutes. Brown, 27. Jamal Murray, 26. I think they'll be nice and rested and kick the absolute bejesus out of Memphis. We're taking Denver minus 13.5. And Lakers-Houston, the rematch from yesterday's really, really interesting game. The Lakers are flying. Like the LeBron stuff where he's very clearly sort of taken the, third banana roll behind Luka and Austin Reeves. Makes them terrifyingly dangerous. The defense has been really good. Houston's late game situation sort of just struggles, has continued unabated. KD's like, it's all my fault we lost. It's like, yeah, probably. This team's been in a tailspin since your burner came out and you've barely addressed it, you idiot. So I'm going to go the Lakers minus 2.5. I hate this Rockets team right now. They're just all over the shop. I don't know if we've got Alpi Şengün back either, but we'll go the Lakers. Boom. And there you go. That's it for today. Go check out Dabble for all those picks tomorrow morning as well. But all right, who's excited about the Sonics? I am. I can't wait to be able to go over there and actually go to a Sonics game in person. It'll be an absolute dream come true. So, yeah, looking forward to this. And that's why I'm very, very, very on top of this expansion stuff. I'm also still wary enough that I'm not like, oh, it's happening 100%, definitely. I just want it to happen. Just give me back my team. Anyway, we'll be back on deck very quickly for a show tomorrow. We'll try to do a really quick one tomorrow because, I don't know, the quick shows have been like 20 minutes and that's just, again, probably too long. I'm going to do an AFL Supercoach show tomorrow as well for Jim Does Supercoach. Footy Unfilterated is also out as well, the round 1 wrap, the round 2 preview. Go check it out, as I said earlier, across all of your socials and all of your podcast apps and all of your YouTube. Jump in the comments. Jez and I, just look, give us some feedback. Tell us what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. If there's stuff from NBA Straya or NFL Straya that you want to like see transposed on the AFL, let us know. I'm all ears, big ears. But anyway, follow us on Twitter, Facey, IG, YouTube, and TikTok. Get around all the socials. Get around NFL Straya. Jim Does Supercoach. AFL Supercoach round 2 coming up tomorrow. NBA Supercoach is now just a bust. Pack her up, boys. We're done. Yeesh. And also Footy Unfilterated, of course. Rate, review, star, subscribe on all your podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you use YouTube Music as well, let me know. I don't know if it was working, so I hope it's fixed. But anyway, whatever app you use, check it out. Rate, star, subscribe. Get around buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya if you want to keep the lights on here and help keep the pirate ship afloat. Any shekels you can spare to join the Dead Set Legends Club, much appreciated. Buy us a coffee once a month. Boom. Done. Sorted. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song, They Rule. So to House Hats, Josh De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sextra, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all on your music streaming platform of choice. And remember, NBA Straya support Australian bands, so should you. I don't think we're going to close out this show with anything at the moment because it's already a pretty late show, and I'm going to go pick up some squids. So we'll catch you quickly tomorrow, you dickheads. Here's to a big, much better day of NBA tomorrow because this one was pretty stinky, I'll tell you. And I just can't wait for my Sonics to be back. Come on, let's make it happen. All right, this is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And later, hosen.